Hi everyone. I hope you had a good food. And today I'll make you less sleepy by presenting you my talk, which is engaging the next generation of cybersecurity enthusiasts with the concept something known as Security Zines. And I'm the founder of Security. I'll talk about that thing in the later half of the slides. So I'm the founder of Security Zines, and that comes from security, and zines come from magazines. So I binded them together and created a new concept altogether in order to make security kind of a bit more interesting and simple for everyone. So it's about it. And in today's agenda, I would like to keep things short but fun with presenting, with telling at least who I am and how I landed the concept of the security zines. Then I'll be talking about few examples that I have done, experimented with security zines and how they have been really successful with a case study that I'll be talking about, and that is a phishing case study that I did in 2 different organizations. And at the end, I'll just summarize and conclude this call, which is not the full stop of security zines. Okay, so I'm Rohit, I'm from India, and I'm the founder of Security Zines. Currently working as a senior security engineer at Ethos Life. It's a US-based startup. I'm working in Bangalore though. And I'm a part-time SME at Upgrad. I hope you know about what Upgrad is. It's a learning platform, so I'm a cybersecurity SME at that place. On top of this, I'm an open source contributor. I do speaking at conferences, and I do trainings as well. And that's where the concept of security zines came into picture. Because when I used to do trainings, people used to sleep. With the videos, with the textual data, people used to sleep in those trainings. So I've moved the entire concept of training to something really amusing, funny, and something graphical. So that's the whole basics of it. And I'm an orophile, I'm a mountain lover. I come from mountains, so I love mountains. And I'm a cyclist, I like to travel a lot, and I read books. So that's about me. And work-wise, I've started my work with Walmart close to 6 years back maybe, or more than that. So yeah, I started with Walmart in India, then I moved to Visa, worked with Gojek, which is now GoTo, and currently I'm with Ethos Life, and I have my certifications drawn over there. So yeah, since you guys had your food just now, so I'll just skip this part because this may make you sleep. So I'll just go to this one and come back to this later. And I will start with the presentation around the examples of few of the zines, okay? So what is a zine? So the concept of zine actually is bifurcated into 2 parts. One is the flyers, not the Singapore flyer, but the flyer that you can fly around, pass around to people, and they can learn from it, something of that way, and zines. So what's the difference? These are the flyers that I've drawn. I'll come to them, just wait for some time. And then there are zines, which are the detailed description of it. So I have more than 38 flyers on my website, which is securityscenes.com. If you don't want to write .com in Security Zines, just Google it, Security Zines. You'll land up in my page, hopefully. And I have more than 12 zines, which are the detailed text about a specific topic. For example, let's say you want to know about SQL. You can read the entire detailed description about it. If you wanted to teach SQL to someone in a funny way, you can use that to teach someone in SQL. So it's a detailed description. All of them is free. You don't have to pay for it. Now, I would like to present you a few of the flyers with a concept that how you can use it first for educating developers, second is for learning from it, and third is for refreshing your own concepts. I'm expecting all of you would know all the things which I mentioned here because you are in Black Hat, so I'm expecting all of you would have some understanding about the technical aspects which I'm going to present here. But now, don't think that you know these things. Think how I'm delivering those things to you. As if you're a developer, you don't know what, let's say, SQL injection is, and learn it the way I'm telling you, in a better way, hopefully. Okay. So I'll start with the server-side template injection. I hope you all know about this. If not, that's good for me. If you know, then don't sleep, please. It's also known as SSTI, server-side template injection. And this is the flyer that I've drawn myself in order to make this deliver this to my technical folks in the company. And let's start with it. Okay, so let's start with me explaining you, the person, you are the person who don't know about SSTI, and I'm explaining you SSTI in a fun way. So SSTI is nothing but, in the backend, you have few templates. What are the templates? Templates are nothing but a form. Think of it like as a form. And in between, you have some sort of, I would say, some sort of data fields. You can see that there's one data field. You take those data field, basically server take those data field and put those data inside those templates and create HTML out of it. So that's what a server template is. Okay? So this is server templates. There's some mess up has happened. Okay, ignore that. That's like data can directly come, data can directly or indirectly come from the client. So in the templates which server has, you have a data coming directly or indirectly from the client. You take that data, basically server takes that data, takes the same template, populate the same template with the data and send it back to the client in form of an HTML. Now, since you guys are security folks, you would know that this can trigger a lot of security issues because you're not sanitizing data. Okay? Now, this is where the issue comes in. And now, it's your responsibility as security professional of your company to deliver this to your engineers or developers that, hey, don't use templates as is, don't use data as is, sanitize it before you pass it on the HTML pages. And that's what I'm going to do now. But they will ask you, hey, why do I need to do that? And you have to give a justification about it. So let's do that. Let's try to make an attack picture out of this SSTI. Okay, I've talked about issue already, I'm sorry. Okay, yeah. So let's talk about an attack. You have a client request coming in to the server, but you are taking that data and you are putting something as, let's say, a variable name, which is os.name, in that particular data, giving it to the server. It's a common attack, right? Yes? Yeah, it's a common attack. So you're giving it to the data, giving it to the server is doing this render template functionality, creating an HTML out of it, and replacing the os.name variable with the name of the operating system, right, on which the server is running. So basically, when the response comes back out to the client, you would see the name of the operating system coming in, and that's an attack. Yes. Now, if you demonstrate this attack to your engineers, they would understand it that, hey, this is an issue. Now, you can also explain them, instead of just populating OS-specific details, we can do a lot, right? Remote code execution, you can do that. Yeah. So that's what you can use this template again to do remote code execution. But here, you will replace data with RCE code. That's it. And you know, for example, let's say the server is using Python as a language. I'm using Jinja templates. I will just write few lines of Python code, which is import socket, socket.connect to my backdoor. Not backdoor, basically do a reverse shell to my system. And that's what I've done. And if you do this, server will create a reverse shell to your basically attacker system. And that's how the attack would work. Now with this, don't you feel it's become easy for someone to deliver this to developers and for developers also to understand this? Possible? Yes, no? Yep. And yeah, so that's the concept of flyer. You have bits and pieces of information, you add some transition, like compress it in one single page, distribute it like a flyer. That's why it's called a flyer. So this is one of the flyers that I created, long time back, and I used it to explain the concept of SSTI. Trust me, developers were really excited to know about it as well. And if you have done developers training and stuff, you would notice it becomes really difficult for us to deliver these concepts. I would definitely agree with this. I have been doing these trainings for a really long. I am doing in my organization as well as on the third-party organizations. So it's a difficult challenge. But with this, challenge comes to be easy. All those, by the way, all those flyers are available on the site, so you don't have to take photos and all those things. They are free of cost. You can go and check it out. Nothing yeah, because photos may be blurry, and I'm not sure if you can see everything in the back. So next one I want to bring is insecure direct object reference, which is commonly known as IDOR. And trust me, when I was explaining these concepts of what IDOR is, because I would not name which company I have seen this, but in the companies that I've worked in past, I've seen a lot of IDORs coming in. I mean, and there is simple catch for IDORs, but people or the backend developers don't write those catches. I don't know. I know it's very difficult for them to do it, but they don't understand it to do it. They also need to understand what IDOR is, then only they can remediate IDOR is. So that's why I created a very simple illustration of what IDOR is. Again, I think the PDF is getting messed up. I'm sorry for that. So there are good access control policies. You just have to explain developers that what an access control is and what are good access control policies. So anything, let's say, if I'm the user of an application, if I'm supposed to access my document, then I should access my document. That's a good access control policy. And if the user B wants to access his document, then he should access his document only. And the bad access control policy could be an example where the user is, not the user, but the attacker is able to access the documents of someone else, right? So these are examples of bad access control policy. And if you just bring this up in the front of as a training, people would understand it. Don't you think so? Yes, no? Yeah, people would understand it, right? So that's an example of IDOR flyer. And I made this like close to 7-8 months back. It was a great hit. It's still, I would say, on highlights in LinkedIn and Twitter. So yeah, and there's a lot of text. And the text is all about like how things can go wrong, what can go wrong, how the attack may happen, and what are the good things like you can learn from this, as in when you are developing your application, what are the things that you should keep in mind so that the IDOR doesn't happen to your application, or I would say any application, any endpoint that you extend inside the service. Okay, so that's an example of IDOR flyer. Okay, the next one, the really fancy one and the easiest one is JOT flyer. And this is again a hit. I've seen this getting viral on LinkedIn as well. People are really liking it, as in the developers are really liking it. Because the issue with JOT is that people don't understand what JOT is. They would know that there is some string which is base 64 encoded, concatenated together, and then used as some form of authentication or authorization, but they don't understand what JOT is. Right? So I made this flyer. I was just giving it a try. And I made this flyer, made it in a simple way, and just put it on LinkedIn. And it was like, boom. And the next day I was seeing that, hey, there were a lot of reactions about people liking it, developers liking it, developer reposting it. And if you see, I've done nothing fancy. I've just taken the concept of JOT, which is what JSON object is in the first section, and I've moved into what JOT structure is, how you can make a JOT structure, how it can be used to make your server light in terms of when it comes to authentication, and how this can be used for authorization as well. And also I presented 2 different scenarios, which, I'm sorry, I had food, which someone who is developing the application can use. So if they've not taken precautions enough with JOT, then the issues may happen, and what issues may happen I've demonstrated with 2 different attack scenarios. Use it to explain it, that's it. So this is one of the, I would say, one of the flyers that I really like, because usually flyer takes me around 8 to 9 hours to build one page, and everything is hand-drawn, by the way. So it takes me around 7 to 8 hours, but this one was really quick because I didn't have much to do, like much to draw in this one. Everything was easy for me, so yeah, this one. So initially, if you see, the flyers that I've been talking about were on security issues. Basically, how you can use them for training and those kind of things. But I have realized that security is it's just not about telling developers what they should do and what they should not do, but it's also about non-technical people who are part of your organization that they should know. And in October, I ran a campaign of cybersecurity awareness. And in that awareness, I created multiple flyers which are around awareness itself, non-technical ones though. And one of them is account protection one, like how you can protect your accounts. and why you should not use why you should not use your passwords alone. Because all of us know that if the passwords are compromised, I mean, anyone can get access to our systems. If there is no multi-factor authentication or anything of that sort, it's just there in the place. And I use this flyer to, make my HR team learn that they should not use passwords alone. Not only with their professional accounts, but also with their personal accounts. And I told them, like, I've ran a lot of phishing campaigns in all the organizations that I've been part with. And I have observed that people actually use their birth dates, anniversaries, and I would say the same passwords which were initially given when their account is being spun up, right? So let's say if you join a company, I've given you, let's say, ABC. So people are still using the same password. So I've run this phishing campaign. So I always make sure that they don't use it. These are the checklists I would say, please don't use these passwords. And if you want to, if you cannot learn the password, you can remember the password, just use password manager, that's it. And you should not use basically direct passwords to log in. You should use something known as two-factor authentication. But at times they would come to me and then ask, hey, what is two-factor authentication? So here's a list that I give to them. Either you can use OTPs, either you can use, I would say, links, biometrics. Biometrics are really secure way of second-factor authentication, or you can use authenticators. So we all use Google, Microsoft, those kind of authenticators for getting the OTPs and stuff, right? I want to make a flyer on FIDO alliances as well, because FIDO is really doing password-less authentication. I'll make it up. Yeah, I've just got that idea of doing it now. So yeah, that is one. So yeah, before going ahead, these are all the concepts of the flyer. One, pager information about a specific topic that you can use, to compress stuff and pass it on to others. And now I would like to show an example of a zine which is a phishing zine. I didn't incorporate the entire zine in the presentation because that would have make you sleep again. It's a big one. So I just took the first page out of it and made it a flyer again and then put it in the presentation in order to make it less sleepy. So zine, again, I would like to say that it's a detailed explanation about a specific topic. And I have more than 12 zines on my website. Go and check them out. Use them to share information across the teams. Just that, honor the credits. Nothing else is required. Okay. Okay. And the phishing zine, if you want to use, I have these topics covered in phishing zine, like what is phishing, what are phishing scams, what are the basic baiting techniques that attacker leverages, and the basic prevention schemes as well. And this is one of the pages inside the flyer. Okay, so if I have to talk to you about this, let's pick the first section. I've used the example of Amazon.com to make people understand what phishing is. And if you carefully observe, I'm not sure if you are able to observe it in this page, but I have used the Amazon, AMA, and ANNA. Like Amazon and Amazon, because usually attackers do these kind of things, right? They will try to fool people with that the URL is looking perfectly correct, and people try to click on it, then there will be an Amazon page pop up, people will enter their credentials and those kind of things, right? So I've used the concept of Amazon versus Amazon to make people understand what phishing is and how an attacker can leverage, I would say, So when you receive an email saying that, hey, click here, and you click on that button, and you go to Amazon.com, you would not observe that there is a ANNA versus AMA on the URL bar. So that's what I've taken as a concept. That's it, nothing fancy. And since I made this flyer as well, it's not a zine though, but yeah, that's how I'm delivering the concept of phishing. And if you see the third part, you would notice that what an attacker can do with phishing. And that's really important for people who are non-technical to know what an attacker can do with phishing. That's really important. Because people would say that, hey, they've just entered their credentials and what they can do with the credentials. But they can do a lot of things with the credential. Identity theft is one of them. with phishing, we all know that there is a possibility of malware also getting injected to your systems. So you can do that. I mean, attacker can do that. And there are different ways an attacker can reach out to a person. Those could be any social media platform. Email is not just phishing. Like, phishing is not just email. They can reach out to you on different social media platforms. They can reach out to you on phone as well. They can call you, hey, I'm this one, please do this, those kind of things. They can use SMSs as well. So these kind of things, right? And how an attack can happen with phishing, it's demonstrated in the fifth section. Good? So, as I was talking about earlier, that I did a very basic case study. This could not be full proof, I would say, but I did a very basic case study in 2 different organizations I was doing training with. I will not name those organizations, you know why. So, let's call them 2 different organizations, A and B, and it was mixed of all the crowd in A and B as well, like technical and non-technical folks in both the trainings. But I did an experiment that in one of the organizations I did my older way of presentation, which was with the text, with videos, and with some sort of videos, some sort of graphics and all. And in the next one, I did the concept of flyer and zines. Which one do you think people liked more? A, B, 2? Yeah, 2. So people did like B, but there was an outcome that I noticed personally. I'm saying this is not foolproof. This is just a one trial that I did. But this was the result that came out of it. Do you agree? This can be possible? Like the phishing, the number of people got phished in A were more than the number of people got phished in B, in the different organizations. I was kind of amazed with it, but I'm again saying that it's not foolproof, but yeah, there was some sort of benefits that I saw with using the flyer-based approach than a boring textual-based approach. I'm sorry, but yeah. Now coming back to the same page, like how this idea of security zines came into my mind, I would like to give my thanks to the inspiration, which is Bart. She is the lady who writes wizard zines, and I used to follow her a lot. I mean, the time when I was in Twitter and no one knew me on Twitter, hardly 30 followers, that time I used to follow this lady. She used to write zines about development, how you can learn the concepts of development, not coding, but development, like let's say system architecture, what DNS is, those kind of things. So she was a motivation for me behind this, and I used to I like to draw. And suddenly in 2009, 20 March, COVID happened. And when COVID happened, all of us knew that we moved remote. And as soon as we moved remote, I got 3 hours of extra time in my day. How come? I saved my travel time to office. There was to be like 1.5 hours to go office, then coming back like 3 hours. I saved that time. And all of us, we were locked in our houses. So I thought of just giving it a try. That why can't I do the same? I just gave it a try, like made the concept of security and zines together, and inspired by Bart, Julia Evans, it's her name. That's her Twitter handle. So in December 2020, I actually started this. And would you like to see how it looked that time to the time it look now? Okay. So that was like in January 2021 that I made. I myself can barely read what I wrote that time. And this is the time, like after 2 years, this is all that has come. I mean, I think I can say that I am better at drawing now, and my writing is kind of a bit better than the time it was there. So that's the transition journey that we have taken. I started with a small group of 30 folks on Twitter, barely my friends, and then I did all kind of shameless promotion to make this concept reachable to every single one. Even I reached out to Julia on her email that, hey, I'm doing this. Do you think this can make sense? She said, yes, this will make sense, but it'll take time. And I did all my shameless promotion, and that's why I'm here today. And yeah, so I would not conclude this. I would like to make it as a community discussion. If you have questions, if you want to discuss anything, it's open for that. Anything? No questions? I do get DMs on Twitter saying how I'm doing this. This is the common question that I get. Like which template or which tool I'm using to make this. I thought I will have this question here as well, but okay, I'll answer this without a question. So I draw every single part of it. There is nothing which is used as a template or typed in or anything of that sort. Every single part of it is hand drawn. That's why it takes time. A single page flyer that you can see, and it takes 7 to 8 hours minimum. Not less, but minimum it takes 7 to 8 hours. Okay, so no more questions. If you don't have any more questions, then I would like to thank, before going ahead, I would like to thank Vandana. She was here, she just left. I think she had some other talk to attend. She was the sole, Vandana, okay. Hi.
And everything. So I'm guessing this is good, like to start with, like to teach people who don't know these concepts. Have you already, or if not already, are you thinking about covering topics that would be a little more nuanced, like case studies would be involved, or one specific incident with multiple users or audiences? Some, like we have the crowd here, some may already know the concepts, some could be pretty new to it. So just wanted to get that.
Definitely. I want to explore this thing up, and the thing is, I'm doing it as part-time, and I'm doing it for free, and I'm doing it for community. So it'll be good if you guys can come and join me and be the part of it. It's a community thing, right? And if you can read the second name which is out there, in just next to my Twitter handle, that is Anshu. That's how you read it in Hindi. It's Anshu. So he actually joined me. When I was making these things, he came to me and said, hey bro, I would like to do the same thing as you are doing. I said, hey man, it's up to you. You just do it. I'll put it on my website. There is nothing you have to pay to me. Just do it and I'll just advertise it for you. And that's how we are here. So right now, if you go to my site also, you will see there are 2 people who are running this up. So if you're interested, come join me. You identify your topic, just run it. That's it. And I want to make as much as Zines possible, but timing is the constant. I'm a full-time employee. I do part-time consultancy as well. So that's kind of a bit, but yeah, I would like to explore that. You're most welcome if you want to. Sure. My DMs are always open on Twitter, so you can reach out to me. There might be some delay in answering, but I will get back. So yeah, I was thanking Vandana. Vandana is a lady, she inspired me. I was actually finding a slot in Arsenal. I thought I'll just put this in Arsenal, but she said no. Briefings can be a right place under community and career track. So thanks to her, and just because of her, I'm here. And Security Zines is actually run by 2 people right now, which is me and Anshu. And we have a channel on Twitter, Instagram, as a handle on Instagram as well. That's not really popular. I mean, I barely put some content on there. So yeah, that's the story of Security Zines. I hope I didn't make you sleep. Thank you.